Okay, what's going on YouTube? This is Rich from Arm Custom Shop, and in this episode I'm going to be showing you how to do valve cover gasket and cam sensor or cam angle sensor O-ring. So this is two common issues on Miatas. Every single Miata has an issue, especially with the cam angle sensor. It has O-ring that typically wears out every 40 or so thousand miles. You can get I think they're Viter O-rings. Those last a lot longer, but it's going to give you an issue either way. So we're going to show you how to change that, and we're going to get to it.
What's up, YouTube?
Yeah, we're going to do that right now. So,
what are we doing first? Valve cover gasket?
Sure.
Alright, well, in order to do the valve cover gasket, it's pretty simple. You just got to take off all these 10mm bolts that are on top of the valve cover. So, you're also going to want to pull out your PCV valve. And just start undoing these 10mm bolts.
Be very careful with these bolts.
Yeah, they're not meant to take a high torque load. I recommend loosening them by hand, but we already had these loosened up, so that's why I'm using the impact driver to take them off. And when you go to tighten them, be extremely careful that you do not over tighten them. Somebody tried to do this valve cover at one point. You can tell by the RTV on the bolt here.
Yeah. Definitely done. I'm just going to take it off. It's just going to be all RTV.
Now would be the time also if you want to paint your valve cover, do it while it's off the car. Don't be like any Honda Civic ever that paints their valve cover while it's attached to the car. Okay, so once you undo the two bolts holding the coil pack onto the valve cover, you should just be able to pull it straight up and off.
It's not too bad.
And as you can see here, this is the stock valve cover. It may have been changed, was changed at some point.
And they just loaded up the corners of the RTV. Rather than...
It's not a bad idea, but it's not really necessary in certain situations. You only really have to do that if you do it. If you put the valve cover on and then you find out that it's leaking. In our case, we're doing the cam angle sensor gasket as well.
It's a common failure. They fail at 40K.
So it's easier to get to when you have the valve cover off, and since we're doing that gasket anyway, you might as well. So you just want to unplug its electrical connector, and then you want to have something to mark it with, because when you take the cam angle sensor out, you have to make sure you know which orientation it goes back in, because the way you control electrical timing advance or retard on these 1.8 engines
with the stock
is through the degree at which this sits. So like if you take it out and you put it in and it's turned a little bit, your timing will be off. So you have to mark it. So where is it actually getting marked?
So
get all the nasty RTV out.
Yeah. So basically you mark it at this little seam right here. Pull it out, you gotta make sure that the trigger wheel on it doesn't move. You have to mark that as well. So when you're doing your O-ring, this is the part you want to get. 35608 Velcro. There's some other ones you can get. You can get them from hardware stores, different auto parts stores, but this is just a Velcro number, and it's the right size, and should be good.
Alright, so where's the other one?
It's that weird one. It's way back there. Really long head bolt. Doesn't even look like it. You don't have to climb back there to get to it. It's right there.
I can't see this.
Would you please climb on my car? Especially when there's an open valve cover.
Tell me how to fucking live my life, okay? can't see it. I need a light. I mean, I can see it, but I can't like see it well.
Easy. It's a giant thing hanging off the back of it.
Yes, I see that. I just can't see it well. I got it. There it is. There's going to be this one weird looking bolt that's kind of hidden away towards the bottom. They're both 12 mil. And then there's another bolt right here that's attached to a bracket. So that one's pretty easy to get to. And once you get the two bolts out, you want to be really careful that when you're pulling the cam angle sensor out, you pull it out straight. You don't rotate the wheel that's inside of it. Okay, no, we're not going to take it all the way out. We're just going to take the O-ring off.
Yeah, the O-ring is very flat.
Yeah, it's swollen up a little bit. Alright. Well, we're not really going to try and take this all the way out just because it's kind of being a bitch and I don't want to move that wheel, so. Which you're just going to want to get like a pick or something to take the O-ring off with. But a screwdriver will work too, hopefully. It's literally like plastic. Alright, so there's the O-ring. It literally is completely hardened and just snapped as soon as I took the screwdriver to it, so that's going bye-bye. Got the new one. Do we brake clean?
No, just leave it.
Alright, so you're going to want to get your new O-ring. That should be a lot more flexible and malleable, and not feel like hard plastic. And just slip it over very carefully. Once again, you do not want to move this wheel. So now that you have your cam angle sensor, bolt it back in. We can continue to use a valve cover. And if you're in a situation like us where you have RTV in some of the corners, you want to make sure you get all of that off. Otherwise, it won't seal properly.
Yep.
And when cleaning this type of gasket surface on an aluminum head, you do not want to use a metal gasket scraper. Otherwise, you'll mar up the aluminum and you won't make a good seal anymore because it won't be square. So you could use a plastic gasket scraper just fine. Just do not use a metal gasket scraper. Quick step to mention: before you put your new gasket on, it's a good idea to clean underneath the valve cover, just get off any carbon deposits, shit like that. So come over here to our oil drain pan.
Yeah, they're not really supposed to mix brake clean and cycle oil, but whatever you say.
Just once your valve cover is cleaned off, nice and clean on the bottom, as best as you can get it. We didn't really have too much brake clean, so we did what we could. Now you're ready to put your new gasket on and put the valve cover back on the car.
This garage is in rare form. It's actually clean. Wow, this old gasket is so.
It's literally hard plastic.
Yeah. Here's a closer look at what the old. Come on, focus, you bitch. There we go. So this is what the old gasket looked like. And literally, you can hear it. And this was once a rubber O-ring, and is now just hard plastic.
Once you have your new gasket on, this is still full of brake clean.
I just want to like shake it out. It's good enough.
it's nice and pretty. Okay, now that the valve cover's back on, I'm just going to want to put all the bolts back in. And like we said earlier, do not torque these down. They are not meant to hold a whole lot of torque. I think at most it's like 11 or 12 foot-pounds. So you're going to want to do it in like a cross-style pattern. So do this one, do the back corner, then do this one, then do that corner, and then just go into Z basically, so that you're applying even torque to all corners of the valve cover. So yeah, you just want to have them in there but not tightened down. Said impact drivers. They're how you make your flat rate time. Once you got the valve cover all screwed back down, just want to pop your PCV valve back in and plug in all your spark plug wires. Put your oil cap back on and bolt your coil pack back down to the valve cover. So you do that side, I'll do this side. Is that the cross-threaded one?
Yeah. Right here.
Here's what happens sometimes. I came out of the box, now it's 0. Alright guys, so we got the valve cover all back on now. Torque spec, we actually just looked them up for the valve cover bolts. Don't torque them more than 7 foot-pounds. By the book, it's around 5 and some change foot-pounds, but we have it up to 7, which is just fine. You still have enough room to play with, but 7 foot-pounds, that's a good number, so they're all torqued down to 7 foot-pounds. Use a torque wrench, and you should be good. You won't snap a bolt, and you'll be all set. So next thing you'd want to do is just start the car up, let it run, make sure you don't have any leaks. If you have any leaks, you're going to have to take it off and probably add some RTV to the 4 corners, but if you don't have any leaks, well, then you're good. So that is how to change the valve cover gasket and the cam angle sensor O-ring on a 1.8 Miata. Thanks for watching.